Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. I spent 4 or 5 days away visiting some family. It was a nice trip. But when you come back to the 2K community after 4 or 5 days away, it's like you were gone for a month. I open my timeline and I just see straight complaints. Gameplay complaints. People were like cheating or something in the event this past weekend. The My Team thing still has that whole whatever the hell's going on over there. And then I opened Twitter tonight, just a few minutes ago, and 2K dropped patch 2.0. Let's check this thing out. So in this patch, I'm going to focus on the gameplay because that's mainly the stuff that I care about. All the other stuff, you want to read it, I'll leave the link in the description to the full report. But let's check out the gameplay patch. First thing, they adjusted the shot contest logic to reduce inappropriately high coverage scores, ghost contests, when not actively contesting shots. All right, so shot contest has been a big topic all year in terms of, 7-4s obviously was a big topic. Ghost contest was a big topic. They did tweak contests, and then people started to see even more ghost contests. It's been a whole debate. Some people saying contests need to be boosted. Some people saying, nah, like people are getting ghost contests when they, they shouldn't be getting contests because they're not actually trying to contest the shot. It's like, pick what side of the fence you're on and go to war about it. I put out like a funny video a few weeks ago, and there was some truth in there. Obviously, I was making some jokes about people, playing JV high school basketball as a senior and whatnot. But like, that's just me having some fun. But in general, the shot contest debate has been like a prevalent thing all year long since the game has dropped. In my opinion, ghost contests cannot happen. You should not just be able to be in the vicinity of somebody and get a contest. To me, it's just, it would lead us down a rabbit hole of so many, it would take forever to address all of them, but it would lead us down a rabbit hole that would affect so many other gameplay areas that it would, in my opinion, make the game significantly worse. Getting rid of the ghost contest, I think, is a good thing. You should not be getting contests just because, the shooter's over there and I'm facing this way, but because I'm close to the shooter and my back is facing towards him, I'm getting a contest. Like, no. That should not be happening. You got to get a hand up, hand down, man down. Mark Jackson said it best. Let's keep it pushing. Random button alley-oop finishing is now limited to Hall of Fame and competitive online modes. For example, stage, proving grounds, pro-am, etc. Not Hall of Fame modes like theater, rec, park, etc. now use a single dedicated finish button. Basically, the casual modes are going back to last year in terms of the alley-oop finishing. Well, not just last year, every year prior, right? It was always the same button for alley-oops, but if you're playing one of the more competitive modes, the comp slider game modes, it's still going to be on the, you got to pick which 4 of the face buttons in terms of dunking, okay? Next one, increase the difficulty of making pull-up fadeaway jump shots based on community feedback. So pull-up fadeaway jump shots or fades or dribble pull-ups, whatever you call it, they are making those more difficult. I want your comments on this down below because, again, I feel like this is like a side of the fence thing. Like, pick which side of the fence you're on. I see... Whenever I open up TikTok, IG, Twitter, Reddit, I feel like people are arguing about shot contests, fades, and a couple other things we're going to see in here. So get your comments in down below. You think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not going to influence the opinions. I want to see what my community thinks down in the comments. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. We'll leave that for next video or the video after that. I don't want to impact your opinion. I want to see actually how you feel down there. All right, on to the next one. Slightly tightened rhythm shooting windows for both tempo and timing. So this is probably the #1 thing I've seen people arguing about over the last couple weeks. 2K Labs did a test. Shout out to 2K Labs. Use code Joe. You get a big discount if you want, jump shot data, which jump shot is the best for your specific build. 2K Labs, hey, they come in clutch. But they tested rhythm shooting versus button shooting. If you didn't see that data, definitely go check it out. Basically, long story short, from what I gathered from looking at the charts, was like rhythm shooting is way easier than button shooting. And people were freaking out about it. But like, to me, that was kind of obvious. Like, I was button shooting the first couple of days, maybe the first week or so. I don't know if y'all remember, those of you that were in my stream. And one night I was like, all right, I'm gonna try rhythm shooting. And literally, I probably shot 97% that night. And I was like, wow, this is like shooting with training wheels. Like, this is way easier than button shooting. So the fact that people were like surprised by that data or freaked out, I was a little confused by, because I kind of thought everybody just knew, like, rhythm shooting is easier. Like, why else would everyone be switching to rhythm shooting? Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's a whole argument. Like, you could go on for another 20 minutes about that. But apparently they're making rhythm shooting more, a little more refined. It basically slightly tightened the rhythm shooting windows for both tempo and timing. We'll see how that plays out. Adjusted takeover effect so that the dunking boost now correctly applies to poster machine instead of blur. So basically what was happening was poster machine basically didn't work. Blur, you were getting the blow-bys and it was boosting your green window on the dunk meter. Now, the thing I have about the blur was OD. I think everyone realized, like, blur was like, it was crazy. But as crazy as it was, at least in my experience, I'd say like at least 80 to 90% of the guards I played against still use deep bomber. So my thing is, like, when we start nerfing things that are not meta, you just strengthen the meta. Like, even me, as somebody who, y'all know I love to get to the basket, I use my drive to open up my three. Instead, you know, some people, they hunt for threes to open up their drive. I get downhill and attack the basket, which opens up my jump shot. As somebody that's used blur, if it's not effective anymore, even me, I'm gonna just go to deep bomber. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to get, you know, the blow-bys here and there with blur, but if it ain't super effective, it's gonna be more valuable for even me to use deep bomber. So my thing is, when we start nerfing stuff that is not meta, you strengthen the meta. So we'll see. I already pretty much saw, like I said, 8 or 9 out of every 10 guards I played use deep bomber. Now I would expect probably 10 out of 10 guards to use deep bomber. I do agree that it was definitely like OD and kind of crazy to have the blow-bys and the boosted green window on the dunk meter. But even, like I said, as good as it was, majority of people still use deep bomber. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Added more reliable ball collision detection when dribbling into defenders and during blitz steal attempts. So, hey, for all you lockdowns out there, not even just for lockdowns, just people who like to go for blitz steals, which is something I like to do, hopefully the ball stops phasing through people's bodies. Because right now, it's difficult to get a bump steal. Like, you can get them. It's not impossible, but you can play it perfect and guards just get completely bailed out without losing possession of the ball, because the ball would just go through someone's body, or it just won't knock free even when you time it correctly and you outplay them. So blitz steal, for those of you that don't know, it is not pluck animations. Blitz steal is when you, like, predict where someone's going, beat them to the spot, and then knock the ball out of their hands, either with your hand, arm, body, butt, whatever. Anticipate where they're going, beat them to the spot, knock the ball out of their hands. Actually does take skill, as opposed to just they're dribbling in front of you, you click a button and you lock them into a steal animation. That is not what they're talking about. Just want to clarify, because I feel like sometimes people get confused. We're talking about blitz steals, not pluck steals here in these patch notes. All right, continuing on with the gameplay, replace the behind the back escape in the normal dribble package. So this is referring to the normal behind the back, and I'm assuming, I could be wrong, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. This is talking about that big behind the back that like a 7'4" center can do. Like, anybody who gets the normal behind the back, they can do that big explosive behind the back to create space. They're saying they replace that with a different animation. Now there's some ball handler dribbler stuff here. Ball handlers can now cancel standing in and outs. Some retreat size ups have been changed to hesitation moves. Unwanted behind the back escapes are no longer triggered when trying to step back out of body ups. So I think before, sometimes when you were getting attached to the defender, you would try to move away from that body up, and instead it would make you do a behind the back. And then a lot of times with the behind the backs, you guys know, if someone's body contact with you, do behind the back, you lose possession of the ball. So they're saying it's not going to trigger the behind the back anymore. It's going to allow you to step back out of that body up. Several improvements have been made to body ups for better reliability. Here's a small detail that I think is long overdue. Improved 3-second violation to better handle 2-3 zone defenses and prevent exploits in modes without backcourt violation. So if you didn't know this, in like 3v3 court, when some people play for like free board and they just let their guard chuck threes, basically the center would stand in the paint, and instead of getting out to reset the 3 seconds, they would stay in the paint. and the guard would dribble into the backcourt, because on threes there's no backcourt violation, and by going into the backcourt it would reset the 3 seconds for the center. I know the length some people go, but people were doing that. Like, I remember playing Stage, and I think 2K25 or 2K24, and people were, I think 2K25, right, free board year, people were doing that on the threes. Like, okay, so apparently they improved the 3 second violation logic. See what that means. Energy levels in 1v1 games are now reset on possession changes. So get your comments in down below about patch 2.0, and if you want to see me take on the best lockdown in 2K history, click that video on the screen right there. He's made over $400,000 playing professional lockdown on this game. Go check that thing out.